Take one. I think whenever you're pursuing something, a lot of the frustration that you experience comes from trying to build this image in your head while using the fragmented pieces of reality that you hold in your hand. I think about a puzzle and how it won't ultimately portray the right picture if you've never come to value the significance of your pieces. In fact, you can have all of the right pieces, but you won't recreate the vision if you have an inability to see how they work together. It is so easy to look at one piece and say, no, that isn't it, because what you see in your head is so much bigger than what you have in your hand. So we pray and then we wait to see the vision, not understanding that the blessing isn't in the bigger picture. It's in the little pieces that are working together to create it. I remember in the beginning, all I wanted to do was preach. And so I would create these events and get like 5 people to show up. And in my mind, I saw 1,500. But at that moment, there were just max maybe 15. And honestly, I would have discarded the few because they didn't reach my expectation for many, but I understood the crucial role that touching few ultimately played in reaching many. So the very thing that I thought wasn't good enough was what ultimately opened the door to the things that were. One of the greatest struggles of a visionary is learning how to navigate one world with 2 visions, because there is what you see in your mind, but then there's also what you see with your eyes, and the 2 are most often in conflict. So the challenge is learning to strike a balance between the 2, because if you cling too tightly to reality, you won't have the guts to dream. But if you cling too tightly to the dream, you won't have the grind to face reality. See, contractors understand the importance of building from a blueprint that has already been created from a vision. So builders first build by design, but then they build by reality, because anytime you're building anything, it is inevitable that something doesn't go according to plan. So success isn't necessarily about creating the right plan. It's about having enough grind to commit to the vision, even when reality causes you to deviate from your plan. See, just because the view doesn't look good does not mean that the vision is bad. And what might look like a problem becomes potential when I learn how to change my perspective. If you are not mature enough to challenge your perspective, you will end up getting rid of the crucial pieces of your life, all because you could not challenge your mind to reorient what looks like it doesn't fit. I find it so interesting that a lot of people think you only find your purpose by looking at your passions, the good things in life that make you happy and give you butterflies. But oftentimes your purpose is found by evaluating your frustrations. Could it be that the very thing that drives you to create is your frustration about what doesn't currently exist? Sometimes your purpose isn't found by running away from your problem, but rather learning how to solve it. I always tell people the story of when I first started playing with the Rubiks Cube, and I made the mistake of investing all of my energy into solving just one side of it. So every single move that I made was to accommodate the red side, but the key to the cube is being able to solve by identifying all sides of it and not allowing yourself to get boxed into the one side that you can see. See, you will ruin the entire vision if you allow yourself to be stuck or limited by a snapshot of your life that you currently see. There are parts of you that have gone unnoticed and untouched and undeveloped, and if you are only serving one part of you, you're ultimately doing yourself a disservice. The assumption that you have to sacrifice one part of you to service another is often incorrect. The fact that I can't be a mom and have a career, or that I can't represent Christ and do it for the culture. See, you can't give your attention to all sides of you at once. Your attention here could mean temporarily losing focus over there, and your attention there could mean temporarily losing focus over here, and that's okay. As long as at the end of the day, you are not always investing in the one same side of you. I think we often fall apart when we fail to see how the pieces fall together. Just because there are pieces of your life that might feel disconnected doesn't mean that they can't ultimately work together. And in a life filled with a whole lot of unknowns, of this one thing can you be sure: that all things are working together for good. And sometimes what looks like a minor loss is simply a necessary setup for a major win.